Do, 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 do. What's going on, everybody? Hello, hello. Welcome back to another amazing week. It's your boy D Weeks 2000, man. Just excited about up and coming, the events, the things that's going on. For those just tuning in, this is D Weeks 2000 with Black Affluence every single Monday through Friday, every single day, Monday through Friday. We do interviews with some amazing influencers, people that are in the community that you guys can reach out to. And we just provide this type of information and exposure so that, again, you can fill up your pots with all sorts of great information from Black influencers and social media influencers and people that can give you some really dope financial education. I want to first start out by saying thank you to everybody that came out this past Saturday. Saturday, we were at our new location. We are now at the Monroe School in D.C. in Northeast. It's an actual big school building. We're so excited. It was a really great time. We met some people I've never met, again, that tune into the live. And we had amazing vendors. We had people that were selling all sorts of stuff. They had vendors, Nana's Kitchen. They had someone selling candles. Since 91, thank you so much. Node by God, or I messed up the name. But one of my homies, she came out to sell her T-shirts. So it's just so much. Amazing entrepreneurs that, again, came out, showcased their materials. We had amazing speakers that came out. They talked about all sorts of varieties of entrepreneurship. And so it's actually one of them is on right now. Shout out to my boy Glenn Wiggins. So y'all go follow him and check him out. He's a really heavy hitter. And now I want to thank, of course, so after that time, of course, we're definitely going to try to do one in May. But I definitely want to push for June because I'm thinking of planning Artpreneur. So Artpreneur. And so Xavier and I have been talking about doing just a whole art show with poetry and spoken word and artisans and painters and stuff like that. So if you guys know anybody that's in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area that are artpreneurs, that really are living off their craft or somewhat living off their craft, and that's their passion, please let me know, because I think we're going to try to push to do something really, really amazing in June. But people are still talking about it. Days later, I was extremely tired because it was a lot of setup and stuff like that. But again, this all goes back to helping and empowering the community and impacting the community. So now, I want to thank those that have just tuned in. Liz B, stay fresh. What's going on, girl? How was your week? Stir the pot. What's going on, man? So, yeah, good to see you, girl. My cousin, he has an amazing podcast. He'll actually be on our show this upcoming week. W.V. Green, Warren Green Jr., he is a dope podcast. You guys should definitely check that out. The Passion Playbook, I believe. Chanel Glenn, good to see you, girl. Nikki Bacote, Means and Beans. I like that name. That's really dope. So tonight we have a really, really dope guy. I think this is his first time using IG Live. But his name is Iamcashcash. And so he'll be on pretty shortly. I'm about to contact him right now just to make sure that we're good to go. He has a lot of dope material. He's about 30,000 followers online. He should be coming on very shortly. But anyway, thank you guys again for tuning in this past Saturday. We have a lot of stuff going on, Another update is that we are actively searching for interns. So we want a lot of different interns in different fields to start to help our company and to also for us to help them as well. But if you are an event planner or you admin assistant and you really want to make an impact in the community and some of the type of things that we're doing, then we're actively seeking these type of people. Maybe you're a recent graduate. Maybe you have some, you want to be a part of an organization that is definitely thinking through a lot of the challenges and trying to meet some of the need in the community. We definitely want you to be a part of our team. You kind of see the work that we do, from the Hustlepreneur to our partnerships with schools. We are growing. And so as we're growing, we definitely want to continue to expand. But it's a lot of work, y'all. I can't do it all by myself. So I definitely want the right people on the team to help continue the work that we're doing and moving forward. So again, if you're looking for a opportunity like that, here he is, y'all. IAMASHCASH. Let me shut up. Let me get him on. And I'm appreciative of this brother for taking his time out. He's about to come on and drop some knowledge on y'all. Let's welcome to the show, my brother.
Peace. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
I can see you, man. What's going on, man?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you, man.
IAMCashcash, y'all, is in the building with Black Affluence, man. We are so excited. We're so happy that he has taken the time to tune in. And for those that don't know, I'm D-Weeks 2000. It's always a pleasure to serve our community with financial education, with empowerment from amazing Black influencers and people that are really doing the damn thing, as we say. So brother, man, before we get into, some gems you're going to drop tonight, because I already know you about to drop some gems. One of the ways we kind of want to know about your background. Kind of tell us a little bit about your background, and then we'll pause. We'll shout some people out on the live. And while you're doing that, I'm going to also drop his pen name so you guys can follow him if you have any questions, because we don't do a long show. So we make sure that you support this brother. So without further ado, IAMCashcash. Let's go.
Man, so IAMCashcash. I'm a kid from New York, from Harlem, NYC. Grew up, low income in the projects, man. So at heart, I'm a St. Nick projects kid, Grew up on 129th Street, low income. Really didn't, single parent homes, typical urban story. A single parent home, the youngest of three. Really, didn't know anything about money growing up, living poverty, however you want to call it. Always been a hustler all my life, though. 8 years old, packing bags at the local supermarket. 12 years old, selling T-shirts, mixtapes on 125th Street.
Wow.
Always had that knack for entrepreneurship. Fast forward, I got a job at 17. I had to decide whether I was going to play the streets and sell drugs or, get a job. And so I wound up getting a job because my sister helped me get a job at Blockbuster Videos. Shout out to Blockbuster Videos.
Hey, Blockbuster Videos.
Hey. That was my first job. I did that when I was 17 years old. It opened my mind to so many things. And so I became an assistant manager very quickly, learned how to apply myself in the right way. At 19 years old, there was an opportunity to work as a teller at a bank. And at the time, I realized that there wasn't really much I can do at the video store. So I decided to take the job as a teller, and the rest is history. I've been a banker since 19. And so I did everything in banking, from teller, customer service, personal banker, private banker. I was a branch manager. At one point, I was one of the youngest CEOs of a federally chartered bank. So I was the CEO of a credit union at 31 years old. Decided, right around the Great Recession, decided that I, didn't really like the way banking was going and wanted to focus more so on educating our people, right? So Jay-Z has this quote that he says, "There's much bigger issues in the world I know, but I first had to take care of the world I know," right? And so for me, as a private banker, I realized I was helping wealthy people manage their money, where I knew that there were people who looked like me from my background who could benefit from this information. And so in 2009, I decided to write my first book, Mind Right, Money Right. That's that baby right there. Yes, Mind Right, Money Right, 10 Laws of Financial Freedom. And the rest is history. I've been a financial educator for the last 10 years. I've written 7 books. 3 of them have been bestsellers. Wow. I've been on any media outlets you could think of, from Forbes to Essence, Black Enterprise, Money Magazine, Wall Street Journal, whatever, you name it, I've been on it. And really my message is ownership. My message is entrepreneurship. I'm a big Jay-Z fan, so I'm gonna quote another quote where he says, "Until you own your own, you can't be free," and that's just a fact. And so, my mission is to help first change the mindset, right? So that's why it's mind right everything, mind right money right, mind right life right, mind right credit right, mind right body right, mind right. It all starts here. And so my goal is to teach people how to change their mindset. And then once they change their mindset, then we can talk about how to build wealth. Then we can talk about money. Then we can talk about all these other things. But none of that matters, right? None of it matters if you don't get your mindset. And that's what
That's huge. That's huge. I think that you pointed on something huge and heavy. I think that that's the first battle is, as they say, in the mind. And so a lot of times, I guess, what do you run into when you're trying to help people change their mindset? What is, I guess, a common, obstacle?
Yeah, I think that in the beginning. So honestly, I don't run into anything anymore because there's a saying that says when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And so in the beginning, I was on a crusade. I was like really trying to save everybody, like to the point where I would go to the neighborhood and be an example, right? I had the success early, and then I would come back to the neighborhood and try to like force people, like, yo, look what I'm doing, right? Like I was on this corner with you, right? Like look where I'm at with it. Like let's go. Let me show you how. And I realized that was a lot of wasted energy because people have their own journey, right? And so who am I to tell somebody to stop their journey to follow my journey because I got enlightened, right? So for me, my goal isn't anymore trying to change people's mindset. It's to give them a choice, right? And so it's really contrast, and that's what's really important in our community is giving people contrast. Because if one person is saying go to school, work hard, get a job, and retire happily, and another person is saying start a business, get through the grind, do what you need to do, change your mindset, and then you'll be happy. At least if you have these two different narratives, you get to choose. And I'm okay with people who make a choice, right? Like if you make a choice, if you go outside and you're like, you know what, I want to be healthy, but only thing that's on your block is Chinese food, then I can't fault you for not being healthy, right? But if you say you want to be healthy and you go outside and there's a Chinese restaurant and a health food spot and you decide to go to the Chinese restaurant, then more power to you. And so that's what my goal is. My goal is to really just be the contrast. And that's why, like, even if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, you'll notice that I only focus on progression. I only focus on positivity. There's enough people talking about the negative stuff. There's enough people giving the reasons why things can't happen. And so I like to highlight and be the example of what can happen. And those who are ready for the message, take the message. Those who are not, will not. Because at the end of the day, that same energy that I can waste trying to convince somebody that this is the right path or this is a path that they should take is time that's being taken away from the people who are ready, who are like, yo, I'm ready for the health food. I'm ready for financial freedom. I'm ready for wealth. Those are the people I focus on. And so to your question, in the beginning, there was definitely this save the hood mentality. I don't have that mentality anymore. Because there are people, believe it or not, in circumstances, and they're okay with it though, right? Like there's people who are in situations that they could probably make better, but they are okay with being in that situation. And you're not my person, right? My person is the person who sees their circumstance, wants to change their circumstance, but doesn't know how to, and might think, oh, you know what? I didn't grow up from a wealthy family, or I grew up in the hood, so it's impossible. And so for me, you're my people because I want to show you that I came from nothing. And, I've been able to attain a level of success. There are millions of other people just like me who have come from nothing and have been able to, maintain a level of success. And so I'm focusing on those who want change and just don't know how. And so I provide the example and the tools for them to know how.
That's huge. And I applaud you, man, just for the work that you're doing. And we're going to pause right here. Again, for those that are just tuning in, I'm D-Weeks 2000, Black Affluence co-founder and representative. Tonight, we have a special guest on IAMASHCASH. He is a author over several books. He's also a financial expert. We have a question from the audience. And as we're talking again, if you have questions, please drop your questions for IAMASHCASH. And we're not going to be able to take all the questions. So again, if you have further questions, follow him, drop him a DM. I'm pretty sure he'll be able to answer them. One of the questions comes from Means and Beans. How do you get a business loan with a bad credit score?
Yeah, that's a great question. I hear that question a lot. I mean, honestly, a couple of things about business loans is that one, banks are in the business of mitigating their risk, right? And so they're trying to give out loans to people who they feel will be able to pay back, right? And so if you're looking for a business, which, 9 out of 10 businesses, fail within the first 5 years, there's already a big risk right there, right? Just even if you had a perfect credit score and you try to take out a business loan, they're still going to look at you, with scrutiny because a lot of businesses fail, right? So then add to the fact that you have bad credit, it's going to be very difficult. Not impossible, but very difficult for that to happen because most of what banks look for is a personal guarantee. So if the business is going to fail or they think that the business has a high probability of failing, a business is its own entity, right? So just like you have your own social security number, once you is an entity, the business has its own rights, like it's separate from you. It has its own entity. It's recognized by the government, right? And so knowing that, banks want to make that you have a personal guarantee. So if you have to be very difficult to do, but secondly, I personally would feel same habits that it takes for you to focus on the business finances is going to be the same habits that you need to take care of your personal finances. So I personally would tell someone simultaneously as you're building your business, make sure you're building up your personal finances because your business makes $1 million and now you have full control of that $1 million. How are you going to control that $1 million, not understanding how to control, your credit and things of that nature on a personal side. So I would say first, start with education and learning. Second, I wouldn't necessarily focus on a business loan off top because the other thing that banks look for is at least 2 years of tax returns, right? They want to see that you have cash flow within the business. And so I would focus also on finding a product or service that you can sell very quickly. People sell T-shirts, people sell books. There's so many things that you can sell that can give you a quick turnaround and build up the capital that you may need for your business, unless it's like a brick and mortar business, but that's a different story. But I would say focus on financial education first, then find that little product or service that you can, create really quickly and sell to build up that capital yourself so that you don't have to depend on loans off the gate.
Got you. And she says, I opened a business with my own money, but needed more funds. So yeah, just kind of going back into what you said. And so that's powerful. I think that your story is huge. I always suggest to people that they should have they should start understanding their skill sets and identifying other ways of income. Because as we know, with the government shutdown and people getting laid off, at any given time you get laid off or a job can close. But again, you want to find other things that you can do. Like you said, it could be selling T-shirts, it could be books, it could be babysitting, to start to increase and that's actually businesses. And,
Right.
and I always suggest people that they do those type of things. And I find that it also helps them pay down their debt and other things faster. So what are some tips and strategies for people that want to step out into owning their own businesses? Like, what do you have any websites? Do you have any recommendations? What's in your book? Your first book that you spoke about.
Yeah, so definitely, Mind Right, Money Right, 10 Laws of Financial Freedom talks about how to create ownership. I think you see it up there, right? So I wrote a book called The Wake Up Call, Financial Lessons Learned from 444. So Jay-Z's album 444 really inspired me, and so I wrote a whole book about it. And in that book, there's a chapter that talks about taking chances over advances, and that whole chapter focuses on business ownership. So how the steps that you can take to build a business, the different ways, the different types of businesses you could build. And I would say that's a first a good place to start. A first tool is to really understand business and understand the tools that you need to take. But the advice that I would give is first and foremost, find something that you are good at and you're passionate about, and then figure out how to make money doing it. And the reason why I say that is because the one thing I realized on this journey is that being broke is hard, right? Like being broke,
You're lying.
that's tough. You know what I'm saying? Like that's hard. Entrepreneurship is hard too. You know what I'm saying? Like it's going to be, I'm the first to get up, the last to go to sleep, right? There's going to be some grind you got to put in. And so you got to pick your hard. You know what I mean? Pause. You got to pick your difficulty, right? Is that like if you want to be broke, that's difficult, or you want to grind and have a thriving business, that's difficult. But choose which difficulty you want. But in that difficulty, though, make sure something you love to do, right? So at the end of the day, I may be like, man, I wish I could get more sleep, but I love what I'm doing. Like I love writing, I love speaking to people, I love educating, and so because that love is going to override, any discomfort I may have, and that's how you attract the goodness. That's how that's how your business becomes successful. That's how you keep, you keep going no matter what. Is really by being passionate about what you do day out. Like every single day I wake up, I'm excited about what I do. I love what I do. Look at it as a job. I haven't worked in over 10 years, right? Because whether I was getting paid for this or not, I'll be doing the same exact thing. And so I'm just fortunate that I get decent I get decent checks to come out. I get good checks when people buy my book. I get checks to do consulting or whatever the case may be. And so I'm just fortunate that people see value in what I do enough so to pay me for it. But at the end of the day, this is not work. I love it. And so I would say if you don't love it, if you're only doing it for money, I personally wouldn't do it. Do I know people that are successful and they're not doing what they're passionate about? Absolutely. So I'm not saying that there isn't a way to, like, you have to have passion in order to be successful. But in my experience, with my personal experience and those who I know, the people who are happiest with their success are those passionate about what they're doing. I know friends who have multi-million-dollar businesses. I'm talking about they make multi-million-dollars, but they hate what they do. And they have addictions, right? They drink, they're always at the club, they're very promiscuous with women. And I'm not like I'm just saying from my observation, it looks like there's a direct correlation between all of that stuff and being happy and passion. So I would say from what I see and what my experience is, I would say, chase your passion. Find something you love to do. And then once you find that thing that you love to do, then figure it out. There's tons of ways, a million ways to make a buck, right? There's a million ways to add value to somebody's life based on what you're passionate about. And so use that. Use what you're passionate about, add value, and somebody will pay you for it.
That's so true. That's so true. Before we take our last question, I know so many people have questions. Again, we're not going to be able to answer all the questions. So that's why we always suggest that you follow IAMCashcash, because that way you can ask your question directly. We want to shout out some of our viewers. We've had over at least 50, 60 viewers. I'm not going to be able to shout out everybody. But Julio Brown watching. Danny B. Writes, what's up? She's a grant writer, y'all. Go follow her. C. Williams, PYO. That's my boy Caleb. Yeah, we're going to talk some stocks next week. Liz B, stay fresh. She's a regular here. Stir the pot. She's a regular here. Means and Beans. She's a regular here. Gold Digger. JB Swag. What's going on, family? Promise Studios. Age and Nig 24. Johnny, good to see you. CT Jackson. CJ or CT Jackson. I'm sorry.
Salute.
Unusual Best. Shantae Chastain, The Ambitious One, Josetta Stone, Little Miss Sam I Am, Vegan for the Culture, Mellowed One for You, Food, Clother, Shelter, Chef XU, God Fixing It. I like that name. And Gemstone and High Life 215. So thank you guys for joining in. Again, for those that just tuned in, we have Iamcashcash. We're going to ask one more question because we want to be, just observant of his time. This is our last question. It comes from Mellow114U. Advice for a young person wanting to start investing. So advice you would give to a young person that wants to start investing. Can we got it?
So you said advice to a young person who wants to start investing?
Yeah, so this young person looking to invest.
Okay, yep. And so I think that it's awesome that young people should start investing as early as possible, because when you think about the time value of money, when you think about compound interest and everything like that, the earlier you start, the better, right? The more opportunity you have to grow your money, the more opportunity you really have to take advantage of what investments can do. But I would say first and foremost, start out passively and then get active. And when I say passively, I say, test the waters with, there's an app called Acorns. Test the waters with something like Acorns, where you can attach your debit card to this app, and every time you spend money, it automatically rounds up your purchases, and it takes your purchases and the change, and it helps invest it for you, right? And so that's why that's like passive, because you're investing, but you're not really making the decisions on what you're going to invest in. I would start there. Secondly, I would make sure get your finances in order, right? So get the proper financial habits. And so regardless of how much money you make, what your financial situation is, everybody should have at least 6 to 8 months of expenses, right? Or be working towards 6 to 8 months of expenses in a financial freedom fund. And so if all you have is $100 cell phone bill, then you need to have $600 to $800 in a bank account. If your expenses are $1,000, then you should be working towards getting $6,000 to $8,000 in a bank account. So start with that habit. And the reason why you start now is because as you get older and you start making more money, you want to make sure you have your finances in order so that you're not dipping into your investments. You're not dipping into your savings. You're not dipping into anything. So I would say, first and foremost, start passive, then start to get your finances in order. And then lastly, as you have your finances in order, there's two things you should do, right? One is that if you're working a 9 to 5, you should open up a retirement account, right? So a 401k, and usually employers will probably match your contributions. So I would say start there, because that's a way to grow your investments by taking advantage of tax deferrals. Secondly, if you don't have a 9 to 5 and you have a business, then I would open up a SEP plan, right? A self-employed plan, which is also a retirement plan. A lot of entrepreneurs don't do this because they're thinking about, well, I need all this money. I need this money. I need this money. But what you have to realize is that if you don't have an SEP and you're making money as an entrepreneur, you're going to give that money to Uncle Sam anyway, right? That money you're going to pay for taxes. So if you open up an SEP plan, that money that you put in there, you don't have to pay taxes on it, right? And so, I would say, make sure that you either open up a 401k, or if you have a business, open up a retirement account so you can save on taxes and still build that money. And then you go active. Then you start to look at the type of investments, right? Speak to financial advisors and see the different type of investments might be suited based on your risk tolerance, right? So some people have different risk tolerance. Look at what your risk tolerance is, and then start to direct your investments based on those risk tolerance. But I would say definitely start early. Definitely start passive, get your finances in order, and then open up a retirement account, whether you're working a 9 to 5 or as an entrepreneur, and then get advice from a financial advisor.
Amen. So you heard it here first from Iamcashcash. Again, he's a financial expert. He's written 7 books. And for those that have tuned in, again, we do apologize. We can't answer all the questions tonight, but what you can do is follow him. His screen name is pinned below. We would definitely love to have him again on the show. But definitely, where can they find you other than Instagram? Where can they find some of your books?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So go to my website, IamCashcash.com. Everything is there. You'll see, I saw somebody ask earlier about tools. If you go to my website, IamCashcash.com, you'll see everything. You'll see my books. You'll read more about my story. I also have an online financial academy called Mind Right Money Academy. So you can find out information there. And so, yeah, definitely my website. If you want to connect with me, hit me up. I'm on Instagram. I answer all my DMs. So, hit me up, at IAMASHCASH. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. If you want to email me, info@IAMASHCASH, just hit me up. I serve the people. I'm blessed to be a blessing. And so, any information, knowledge is the one thing you could give away without losing any. So anything you need, just hit me up. Knowledge, that is. Hit me up.
Amen. So thank you to this brother, man. Again, thank you. I am Ash Cash, because again, we need more black men that again preach savings, investments, and can really break down that what I call high yield terminology to the layman terms. And so we do thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of Black Affluence. We've had over probably 100 people tune in at some point, so I know somebody's life has changed. Again, we'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please follow him. Please support him. I know I'm personally going to be buying a book because, again, I love to see black entrepreneurships and people that are doing the right thing and doing the damn thing in the community. Tune in again tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. I'm D-Weeks 2000, and you spoke to
Ash Cash, the financial
builder.
Appreciate
you, brother. Be blessed, y'all. And we